Hey, thanks for joining me. So, I just wanted to stop and take a minute to talk about the passing of Peter David. It was announced that he passed away. It says, I thought it was today. Today is the 25th of May, but I thought it says it was the 24th. So, but he passed away. Was 68 years old. He was born September 23rd, 1956. Um, a guy that did a lot of work on a lot of things. The one that I remember him most on is X Factor. That's the stuff that I collected and read and is most memorable to me. But he did long runs on lots of things. Of course, most of us will know him from The Incredible Hulk, which he had a 12-year run on, which is incredible. I know that from what I seem to remember reading about him, that he had a quite a personal kind of ownership on the character. Like, it's Marvel's character, but he felt a certain amount of personal ownership on it. I get it. He also started up Marvel's Spider-Man 2099, a character that's has certainly kind of survived the ages. I don't hear a lot of people necessarily discuss the original comics of being this amazing thing, but you know, it was pretty well received, and the character has survived on, and he was a big part of the creation of that, of course. But he had big runs on books. Like I said, a 12-year run on Incredible Hulk. He did Aquaman, Young Justice, Spy Boy, Supergirl, Fallen Angel, Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2099, Captain Marvel, and of course X Factor. That's the one that I remember him most from. He had a writing style that had a very distinctive voice. I kind of feel like if you're reading a book or a comic or something like that of his, you often could kind of tell that it was written by him, because he definitely has a way of making his characters interact. I feel like a lot of humor was interjected in that, in addition to just being a good writer. I mean, he's a guy who took the craft of writing seriously, and he had a long and successful career. And, so many people should be so lucky to be able to say that about themselves. I kind of personally struggled with him like a little bit as time went on, because in the comics world, he kept butting heads with a couple of creatives that I was personally a big fan of. Specifically, he was always butting heads with Todd McFarlane. There was that kind of infamous debate that he had. And for by all kind of understandings, that he kind of won that debate against McFarlane. But I was a big fan of McFarlane and Spider-Man and Spawn, and Peter David's over here telling these that he sucks and they're doing everything wrong. I was just kind of on McFarlane's side. So it kind of left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth for Peter David. And there's no justifiable reason on it from my part, except that he was going against the guy who I was more of a bigger fan of. Same thing with Eric Larson. They butted heads over Larson's use of the Hulk in Larson's Spider-Man run, where the Hulk got his ass kicked by Dr. Octopus, and Peter David's like, there's no way the Hulk would get his ass kicked by Dr. Octopus. So they went at it in the letters pages of Savage Dragon, and they kind of, Larson and Peter David butted heads. But I would kind of imagine, that's all in the past, and it's, long since been done, and everyone's just kind of moved on. But Peter David, he wrote a lot of stuff that I enjoyed. And, I have to say that I have not read even close to everything he's ever done, but everything of his that I have read, I mostly enjoyed it. I remember finding him very interesting, especially the X Factor stuff, because at the time I was really into the X-Men books, and he had a very distinctive kind of voice and feel on the X Factor stuff, and I enjoyed it. It was good stuff. It's so 68 years old is the age that he was when he passed away. Just again, as of this recording, it was just yesterday. And I kind of, as far as how it kind of makes me feel personally, I mean, I've never met the guy. I don't know him personally. I did have the chance to meet him one time at a local comic convention sometime here in the last 10 years. Can't remember exactly when it was, but there was a local comic convention here in Salt Lake. And I was walking through Artist Alley, and he had a booth right there. And I remember thinking that I was kind of shocked, because here's Peter David. He's written Hulk and X Factor and Spider-Man and all manner of stuff. And there wasn't one person at his booth. He was just sitting there by himself, kind of looking at his phone. I thought it was kind of a bummer, like that this guy should have people coming up and wanting to talk to him and see him. There should be a line of people with piles of books to get signed. If I would have known he would have been there, I would have brought some stuff, but I was also kind of shy. I didn't want to go up and bother him. But I kind of feel like I should have gone up and shook his hand and said, hey, I really enjoyed this work and that work. And I kind of had a good chuckle when you were butting heads with Mr. Larson over the use of Hulk and Dr. Octopus and all that shit, and maybe had a laugh about it and just talk to the man. He's there at a convention to meet people. And I can't imagine there's any scenario like I was embarrassed to go up and talk to him. I felt kind of shy and stupid. But that's why he was there. There also might have been a little part of me that's like, I didn't have any money to spend and I feel bad going up to a person's booth and not buying something. That's kind of a dumb thing. Like, just go up and say hi to the guy, tell him you enjoyed his work, and just make him feel better. Why not, right? But I felt kind of bad and kind of dumb, and I just kind of walked by. I was like, wow, that's weird. This guy's got a major career, and not one person's there. Now, that was just that brief moment. I don't know what he kind of had it there in terms of people looking at his stuff and interacting with them any other time. It was just that one moment when I walked by. But 68 years old, I mean, I'm like, I'm sitting here, I'm just 48. So I'm like, that's only 20 years into my future if I, lived only as long as this guy. And I just kind of keep thinking about that. And it's just like 68. I mean, that's not young, but it's not old. It's not crazy old. Peter David was having some big health issues, and that sucks. And so it kind of makes me feel like I need to make sure I pay attention to my own health and take care of yourself and eat right and be healthy. And because, you don't want to be older in life and struggle with medical bills to take care of yourself. 20 years into my future, I was sitting here thinking about it for myself. This next December, I will have been at my current job for 20 years. And I'm like, God, 20 years. It's like if I started this job today, and the amount of time I've worked at my job, by the end of that 20 years is when I'll be dead. If I lived as long as Peter David did. Does that make sense? These are just the dumb thoughts I kind of go over in my head. Like, I used to not worry about things like that when I was in my 20s or 30s. I'm like, I got tons of life ahead of me. There's all kinds of future. I'm not worrying about anything like that. But now that I'm 48, I'm only a year and a half away from 50. I remember when I was a younger kid thinking 50 was like, that's a grandpa. That's an ancient old man. And here I am. I kind of feel like I'm the same dude I've been for a long time. I'm just a guy who works and likes to have fun and interact with his family and friends and wants to have a life of happiness and joy and peace and hopefully lots of sex and adventure. And, not all of it works out. But as time moves on, you're like, the clock is ticking for all of us. And as I get older, and a lot of the creatives and, actors or artists or friends or people that people who are older than you just start kind of moving on from this existence onto the, whatever is beyond. And it's just, you start thinking about this shit, and all you can do is just like, it's so cliche to say, but it's true. Like, enjoy every moment you have, take advantage of every opportunity that you can while you can, because tomorrow's not guaranteed. Tomorrow's not promised. And you just never know. So, you don't want to be lying there looking at the doctor who's going to tell you you're only going to live another day or another hour or another week or a month at most, and just look back on your life and go, God damn it, I didn't do anything. No one will remember me for anything. What you do in life echoes in eternity. Well, Peter David wrote tons of comics and left his voice and a legacy behind that at least people can go back and read the work and enjoy it forever. So, my condolences to his wife, to his 4 kids, to his friends and family. It sucks that he's gone. Like I said, I've never met him. I had that chance and I blew it. But just anytime there's somebody that, especially part of the comics industry, because that's the main kind of form of entertainment that's important and precious to me, when they pass along, I just want to take the opportunity to say something. It sucks that he's gone. And, what can we do except just appreciate the man's work and strive to make your own works. If you're an artist or a writer or a musician or anything, make that creative stuff. Make it, create it, wheel it into reality before you can't, because you just don't know, right? You just never know when that clock is going to tick and you're going to be moving on to that next adventure into whatever it may be, and you don't want to have any regrets. So anyway, Peter David, wherever you are, I hope you're at peace. I hope I hope whatever the next existence is, that you find peace, and we'll all miss you. So that's all I've got for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.